Finland and Russia are two neighboring countries in Northeast Europe that share long traditions of doing business together. For example, Finland buys a big share of its electricity from Russia, and many big Finnish companies are operating in Russia, like for example Neste Oil and even the Finnish Post Office. There is many Finnish and Russian students in Young's international degree programs, and the cultural differences between the people and the countries are notable. And that's why we decided to talk about the differences between the countries from a business perspective.
So the business culture in Finland, equality is really important. Each person needs to be treated with equal respect and deference. Consulting employees is normal and it doesn't lower the respect of a manager in front of his employees. Then also formality is really important. Working life is separated from personal life and is highly task oriented, so it's all about the business and not making relationships. Then change resistance. Change is often feared and unwanted, but Finns are able, when they want to be really good in taking advantage of a change, for example, high-tech innovation, which Finland is known to be good at. Then the time culture in Finland. Schedules are very important in business, and missing a deadline means bad management. And Finnish people often work after hours and overtime to achieve goals. And in communication, direct speaking is really important. There is not a lot of small talk in conversations, and eye contact is important. And trust is expected of everyone. For example, agreements finished with a handshake are as reliable as a signed paper. Then, in Finland, if you want to be a successful manager, you have to harness the knowledge of all workers on every level. The manager is usually the final authority who makes the decisions, but he doesn't dominate the conversation. Employees often feel invaluable if they are not consulted about the general actions inside the organization.
Russian companies are comfortable with change and risk. Failure is always a lesson for the future development in company. Time management. In Russia, schedule and deadlines are flexible, but for other countries where schedules and deadlines are fixed, let the Russians to strict standards and adhere to schedules. Russian management style tends to be centralized and directive. The boss, especially the big boss, is expected to issue direct instructions for subordinating to follow. Russians see negotiations as win-lose. They do not believe in win-win scenarios. In decision-making process generally, many businesses have a strong hierarchical structure and employees show respect to those in positions of authority. In Russia, employees show respect for those who are older and have more experience. Top tips for doing business in Russia. A manager should remember that Russia is an immense country, spanning 10 time zones. It is important to research the location where business is held to ensure you do not schedule meeting at bad time. In meetings, Russians prefer a direct approach. Managers should be well prepared and presentations should be straightforward and comprehensible. Connections are very important. Even if one feels extremely qualified as a foreigner trying to land a job in a Russian company, his/her ability to get that job is often contingent on connections. This applies to business deals as well. Personality and relations are paramount.
When doing business between the countries, you should remember that both countries really appreciate a direct way of communicating. Probably the biggest difference in the management culture between Finland and Russia is the hierarchy structure of the company. Russian management is relying more on mechanistic and vertical style, while Finnish way of running a company could be seen as organic and horizontal. Finnish companies are used to really strict schedules, which might cause some trouble when doing business with a Russian company due to their more relaxed approach on deadlines and timetables.